Welcome back to Dum-Dums and Dragons, where improvisers who've never roleplayed before journey into the world of Dungeons and Dragons. I am the Grand Wizard Bukkake, your host. Having liberated Barovia, leaving Not Petyr Baelish on the throne alongside his husband Hawaiian Strahd and Alyn, who became the portalmistress of Ravenloft, our remaining heroes set off to save Moonhammer and all of Earth, Heaven, and Hell. What's the next step on this insane journey? Find out next on Dum-Dums and Dragons.
Juniper, after a long month of travel since your friends disappeared with Not Petyr Baelish into the mists to try and rescue Bryn from the clutches of Merle Streep and the demon Strahd, you finally arrived at your destination, the long and winding stairs that lead up a cliff face to Candlekeep, the largest library in Faerun. After it became glaringly apparent that your friends weren't returning anytime soon, and trusting that they would, of course, eventually overcome, as they're like to do, you realized that you'd held off your quest to seek out more answers about Avalon Riker for too long. So bidding farewell to the caravan, which was well guarded now by both Dex and Trax, who, as you've observed over time, are actually much fonder of each other than at first they appeared. They really do make a tremendously good team. Being stuck on that island, lost in time, really kind of helped sort things out for them. So despite their constant bickering, you actually kind of, in a weird way, feel like you've left the caravan in the hands of like a younger butthole in Quinny in a lot of ways. Albeit they're both I think older than either of those characters, but you know what I mean. Yeah. So jaded. You have set out in search of answers, and after a few false starts, you found yourself in Baldur's Gate, where you were advised to go and ask some of the archmages of Candlekeep, because after pursuing leads on the Great Collide, you've gathered far more information than you've ever had. But now you're reaching a point where expert intervention is necessary. You've kind of done enough on the ground investigation, but so many of these leads seem to circle back to Avalon Riker, to Xanthus, to a bunch of names that have come up for you over and over and over again, but that unfortunately you can't really get much more clarity on because they're seemingly everywhere and nowhere. Right. So you're on the beautiful cliffs overlooking the water, and you can feel a fresh breeze blowing in off the water. And it's been a while since you've been near the coast. Even when you were down by Baldur's Gate, the smell of the city itself was so overpowering that you weren't quite getting this. But having traveled along the coast for a bit, you're really kind of reconnecting with a part of nature that you've missed, being kind of deep in the interior. So you turn and you pat your horse, who seems to be enjoying the breeze as well. What's your horse's name?
It's Clippity Cloppity.
Clippity Cloppity. And what does Clippity Cloppity look like?
Clippity Cloppity is she's like a kind of like a white dappled with like gray and like a gray mane, and she has a kind of like a coat over her that kind of matches my armor, so it's kind of like a mossy green with like little gold trails. I definitely wanted my horse to feel part of the journey too.
Yeah, I feel like
everyone needs to belong.
Well, and having spent so much time hanging out with like Goblin Jr. and Butthole's like desperate, often overwhelming need to dress people in matching outfits, be they pets or court jesters or what have you, it would have felt wrong. And Clippity Cloppity clearly appreciates the extra condition. I feel like, based on the way you've kind of talked about Juniper and how she connects with the natural world, I don't feel like this was like the first horse you found. I think you like probably bought and sold a couple, being like, nah, this ain't it.
Well, I mean, Juniper would have to have long conversations with the horses she found to find the right one that was like really, willing to go the distance with her. She didn't want to put any undue stress, and Clippity Cloppity, which is her chosen name, wanted to. She wanted adventure. She'd been holed up too long in the same place.
So you hear her kind of like do that weird like horse snort thing where their lips go like, which is very funny to me. And she turns and says, "Wow, I can't believe we made it. It's I got to tell you, I mean, as much of a fan as I am of the interior, it is really nice to smell this air again. Am I right?"
Isn't it? And you did this. You brought us here.
Oh, well, I mean, thank you. I mean, you were the one who suggested coming. Honestly, I would never I always mean to get to the coast, but I wouldn't have come. So, this is nice. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. And we share an apple.
Great. Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, there's a lot of downside to a place like Baldur's Gate, but the upside is there's definitely places you can restock.
And it's also really nice just to be with like someone who's kind of positive. Like, man, good journeying with those other guys, but you're fucking downers sometimes,
Yeah, Clippity Cloppity has no evil parents, no like deep-seated multi-dimensional time travel problems. Occasionally has a burr that she really doesn't like, but like that's solvable. So, walking alongside Clippity Cloppity, since you've dismounted, you make your way towards the stairs. You notice that there is a little ways away, a small stable, where there is a dwarven person in sort of just like stable person's clothes, and they seem to just kind of be very happily soaping, like they're basically in the middle of like a montage to Jitterbug from Zoolander, just like soaping up a bunch of horses, and they're just kind of singing to themselves as they kind of jam, and they're wearing like a leather vest with a bunch of tassels, like an unnecessary amount of tassels for function, but for form, like they look spectacular, and they clearly have these tassels for fun, the fun of dancing. But they're just jamming away, rubbing down those sweet horses. Looking at the stairs, they're clearly meant for kind of pilgrimages, not so much for four-legged friends. So you get the sense that this is probably where you have to stable Clippity Cloppity while you go and take care of your business up in the keep. The keep itself is a beautiful, massive structure atop the cliff. It's kind of breathtakingly beautiful in a way that a lot of the architecture you've seen on your travels hasn't been. It would seem that the scholars who built this over generations truly took care with it in a lot of ways, knowing that what they were adding to the cliffside would kind of define the Sword Coast for quite some time. So even though you're always more comfortable in nature, it's again a welcome change from the fairly functional stuff you've been lately dealing with.
Cool.
Even with sort of the overcast skies above, it's still sort of a glimmering white beacon of knowledge. Clippity Cloppity's like, well, I guess I'll hang out here. That person looks like they really, really know what they're doing when it comes to horse baths.
I think so. I think you're going to be okay here.
Thanks.
Will you wait for me?
Oh, yeah, of course, totally. I mean, look, you went through all the effort of making me this cool outfit, and I would feel really guilty if I just left. Besides, who knows where you have to go after this, right? I mean, they're just supposed to point you in the right direction, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Well,
nothing
will
go wrong up there.
No, of course not. What could possibly go wrong in a beautiful day like this, huh?
I know. And I give her a hug around the neck, and I like, greetings. May I pay you to watch my horse and care for her? The dwarf freezes, sort of mid soap,
And they kind of turn with, admittedly, like a sheepish but vaguely embarrassed grin. And their cheeks are just flushed, like they're super embarrassed to have been caught. They say, hello there, fair traveler. Sorry, you caught me doing my soap dance. Oh boy. You can absolutely leave your compatriot here. Listen, I noticed you talking, and it seemed as though your beautiful horse here was talking back. Am I correct in thinking that you can speak horse?
I can.
Okay. So just a couple quick questions for you then. As you can see, I'm kind of working on the deluxe treatment right now over here. Is that something and sorry, what is your horse's name?
Clippity Cloppity.
And is that their chosen name?
It is.
Okay, good. I always like to check because sometimes people are like, this is my horse, Super Stallion, and they're like, my name is Greg. Stop that. Yeah. So that's great. Okay, so Clippity Cloppity, fantastic. And Clippity Cloppity, would she like the deluxe treatment, the regular treatment? Do we want some cool highlights? What are we going for today?
I look to Clippity Cloppity.
Clippity Cloppity's like, Juniper, you change your appearance more than anyone I've ever known. What should I get done, if anything?
Do you want to? This is up to you.
Well, like, what do you think? Like, I'm asking you. Like, I don't have many horse friends to ask, so I'm asking you. What? I'm sure these people are very nice, and the other horses are kind of like, it's like, okay, maybe they're a bit cliquey. I don't know, but anyway, what do you think I should get done, if anything?
I don't know. Do you want some cool braids? I'm just nothing permanent, right? Like,
and the dwarf is like, I am very good at cool braids.
I mean, mine are kind of messy all the time, so, you don't have to match me.
Okay, yeah, I'll do my own thing. And she holds up one hoof and is like, 1 braids, please, which the dwarf just hears this. And
it's also probably kind of functional.
And they're like, okay, so either that's a very strong yes or a very solid nay. Can you translate braids or no braids?
Oh, braids.
Braids, fantastic.
Braids.
All right, well, I will take excellent care of Clippity Cloppity here, and please enjoy your time here at Candlekeep.
Thank you.
And with that, Juniper, you turn towards the long and winding stairs and begin a literal trek towards knowledge.
What a delightful person.
Meanwhile, Quinny and Reginald, you have been wandering the mists that admittedly are slowly dissipating and changing, coming out of Barovia. With the injured Bryn in tow, you're making your way through the kind of cool, swirling mists that you remembered, but you can already feel them getting less thick, less imposing, and the chill kind of dampness of them is fading away to a legitimately refreshing, like Pepsi Cool Zone mist, rather than kind of an oppressive force that kind of chills you deep to your bones. It's after walking. Well, I guess I should ask, have you been discussing anything as you've been walking? A lot of things just went down, but admittedly, you guys aren't exactly on the best of terms.
Yeah.
I think Reginald would have laid out what the Sun Scythe told him, because it's important about, like, saving reality and, like, going to hell. So basically what we've got is there's this scythe, and it's actually, I think, Moonhammer's twin brother, who's trapped inside a weapon, and Plantier is here because he sucks. I'm not entirely clear on the metaphysics of it, but overall, we've got a scythe who says we have to go to hell and team up with Moonhammer to get this other god out of the scythe, and then they can kill Plantier and maybe save the universe or something.
That's great. I was planning on going to hell anyway. I gotta pick someone up, a couple people actually. So yeah,
and we've got to kill what's his face.
Yeah,
the Babas don't like him.
Yeah, Manny.
Yeah. So we murdered Manny, and then I've just got a cool teleport sword, and then we go break into that vault and get all my goo monster that's going to keep me safe.
Goo monster?
Well, we don't need to go into specifics. I get to pick first out of the stuff at the vault, and I'm never going to die, so it's perfect.
All right.
And with that, you actually exit out of the mists. It's one of those things that happens almost by accident. As Quinny, you're mulling over what the fuck a goo monster could be.
Yeah.
And Reginald, you're thinking quite seriously about the ramifications of, okay, like, yep, gotta go to hell now. That's not something that was on the menu before. It's one of those weird, like, I think you're running the math on, okay, now I have to submit myself to considerable dangers, but if I don't do the dangers, a worse danger will occur. So it's weird coward math where it's like, I don't want to do this, but if I don't do this, worse this.
It's the lesser of two fears.
Absolutely. Soon after exiting the mists, you're able to find sort of there's a small convent that you pass, and there's a cleric comes to greet you as you pass, because basically Bryn just kind of, who's been very quiet since this whole ordeal, clearly slightly more injured than she was letting on, just kind of pats you on the shoulder, Quinny, and points at the convent, because there's a sigil of like basically like a classic like medical sign. It wouldn't be a cross in this world, but a symbol of sort of clerics and that sort of thing. As you've been walking, Bryn has had kind of a begrudging respect for Reginald, given the sacrifice he made to drop Merle Streep and save her. But she's clearly, like, as you know from your adventures, being a thief out in the open sucks. And she's clearly kind of looking for a way out. So sure enough, when she kind of signals that to you, you recognize the symbols of healing and realize that this is definitely a good place for her to kind of rest up for a bit before continuing on her way, to reconnect with the Thieves Guild and kind of reestablish your connections there. So you're greeted at the door by Thea Starflower, a light cleric who greets you very warmly and kind of sizes up Bryn's wounds and her general state, and nods and says, yes, we, the other clerics here and healers here have seen people who have gone through this before. I believe, well, I'm sorry to ask you this, dear, but I believe you've been fed on a bit, and that is something we should perhaps deal with. This will take some time. You're welcome to stay and wait if you like. And Bryn goes to say something, and Thea puts out her finger and like shushes her. She's like, no, that's the one condition. People who get healed here have to remain silent, almost as though their guest star isn't on this episode. So you nod to them, wave goodbye. She does. She says, okay, now you come with me. Sorry.
Like, I'll give her like 500 gold,
right?
Just to like, some walking around money, make sure she gets what she needs. And also at the mention of them treating vampire bites, my like hand goes up to my neck from where Ninja Strahd bit me. Is that bite mark still there?
Yeah.
It is. It's fading.
It's fading. Is like it's healing on its own. Not magically permanent. Okay, great.
No. It's not, definitely not magically permanent. You get the sense too with Bryn that like it's not that she's got the vampiric curse or anything. It's just she's likely been fed on a few times. Strahd seem to have been stealing sips, or one of the other Strahds was. Strahd Prime probably wouldn't have, but you really can't trust Interpretive Dance Strahd or any of those other guys. Yeah. There's like a scuba tube mark on the side of her neck.
Oh no.
But so she kind of nods to you, Quinny. And Reginald, she extends her hand for one of those classic warrior forearm shakes.
Yeah, no, that's a cool idea, but I don't touch religious people.
Oh, sorry, this is Bryn.
Oh, yeah, then I'll take your hand. Sorry, are you becoming a nun? Oh, and you can't talk.
She shakes her head, and then like vigorously shakes her head, and then does like a jerk off motion. The cleric is like,
not gonna get good service here. They're gonna treat her like dog shit.
Yeah, the cleric's like, oh good. Everyone's got an opinion. Well, we'll see how sassy you are when we fill you with poultices. Poultices for days!
Yeah, I think Reginald will take her forearm and then lean in and be like, poultices are supposed to go on the outside. And then he'll just lean back, having given her his sage wisdom from the battlefield.
Bryn's eyes kind of narrow, and she does a quick sort of hand gesture equivalent of Thieves Can't. She can't beatbox because she can't talk right now. Implying to Quinny, like,
stupid fucking choice I made.
Yep, it's our cross to bear. Basically just implying, like, well, actually, it's like she like points at the cart and then makes like a driving gesture and then kind of a like tomorrow and then winks. And you know from the way you would normally do that she's 100% going to take a bunch of healing items and then hijack that cart. So with that, you bid farewell to Bryn and continue on your way. Reginald, you are eager to get away from this fucking chapel business as fast as possible. But a little bit like trying not to have an argument in a taxi or an Uber, it was a bit easier when Bryn was here because neither of you really... Like, it kind of gave you a weird mutual sense of purpose, but now that Bryn is gone, you just kind of walk in icy silence for a bit. Not really knowing what to say, knowing that you have at least a unified purpose, but not really much else. And this, my friends, is the story of how Quinny and Reginald finally became pseudo-buds. It begins as the two of them, having now walked for some time, come upon a tiny, tiny village. In The Witcher, this is a village that would be small enough to not even have a notice board for you to get cool quests from.
Got it.
And it's a sort of small, vaguely run down, but clearly very functional and clearly very, very warm little village. So as you approach, you see sort of a large sign that proclaims very proudly, welcome to the village of Hatsfield. Even having the sign feels a bit of a stretch. Like, it's really a small kind of 2-story inn and then a few farms, but clearly on close enough to a major thoroughfare. On the horizon, you can see a tower and sort of a larger town with kind of a wall, but it's quite a distance away. And honestly, you guys are pretty beat. You've kind of slept outside ever since you left Barovia, and it's been a few days of travel now. So the prospect of actually just being able to settle in somewhere for the night is too tempting to pass up. So you make your way to the inn. The inn is a lovely kind of vaguely slanty shanty, kind of like big sloping roof that goes almost all the way to the ground with kind of those woven shingles that are kind of like basically just bundles of branches, 2 big chimneys just puffing smoke, and kind of a massive round building with this huge roof down either side. You can see it's 2 stories, so there's clearly a lot of rooms. And for a small town, this is clearly like one of the only waypoints along the way, so clearly gets a lot of traffic. Inside, even on the air sort of wafting out of the door, you can smell sort of beautiful lamb stew and spices and cooking. And you can hear the sounds of revelry. There's a jug band playing, kind of like a "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou" kind of way. And it sounds like a proper hootenanny's afoot.
Hootenanny?
A hootenanny.
Oh my gosh.
As you approach, you see a sign hanging, just sort of swinging above the door, a classic sort of inn sign. And it's got 2 hands shaking and a big, stupid, like Joe Boxer style smiley face above it. And under the smile, it just says "Reunities." And at the bottom, there's kind of like a little hanging sign that says "Where everybody knows your name." Which, Quinny, is a boast you've seen repeated time and time again throughout your travels, and is a blatant lie no matter where you go, be it a bar in Boston or here. But this place is far too tempting to say no to. Reginald, for you, just the idea of sleeping somewhere with 4 walls that isn't in any way religious or full of vampires, Seems like a real step up in the world.
Yeah, and the odds of this food being made of children is relatively low, so I think I'm ready to roll the dice.
Yeah, really, it's sad that that's our baseline now, but it really is our baseline now. So you make your way up to the door. In classic mismatched odd couple ways, my guess is that both of you try and squeeze through the door at the same time. Quinny, would you be totally cool with Reginald going first? Reginald, I don't think you'd be okay going first.
No.
So I think this is a weird, like, both of you trying not to be the one through the door and somehow both ending up fighting for it. So what I'm going to need from you, gents, is I'm going to need I think dexterity, or let's say acrobatics from you, Quinny, and athletics from you, Reginald, as you guys attempt to get through a door at the same time.
What a delightful check.
Thank you.
25 acrobatics for Quinny.
19 athletics.
All right, so Quinny, what do you want to have happen?
I will, because I'm halfling and I have halfling nimbleness, I can move through the spaces of larger creatures. I will very clearly indicate to Reginald that, fine, I'll go first, just follow closely after me. And I start to head through the door frame. And as he starts to stride in after me, I just basically reverse through his legs and he winds up walking through the door first.
Amazing. Reginald, you find yourself accidentally out in front, something you always feared in the Black Spider's horde. And as you stumble across the hearth, suddenly everyone turns, looks at you, raises a mug and goes, Reginald!
And I say, friends, it's so good to see you all. I'm General Reginald, and this is my friend, Penis Breath, the mute. And I just gesture to Quinny, who's coming through after me.
And I'm not there.
Quinny, do you enter the bar?
I've turned on my ring of invisibility, so he just gestures to nothing. My friend Penis Breath, the mute.
As soon as you step through, everyone turns to the door and just yells, Quinny? And then, like, looks around, not seeing Quinny, and then they all kind of awkwardly put their mugs back down, looking to the bartender, who just kind of nods and does like, it's okay. It's okay. We're all good here. Just, it's fine. And then everyone goes back to drinking and talking. You can see a few people look exasperated.
You can hear my voice, Reginald, saying, I don't know any of these people. Do you know any of these people?
No, but I'm very popular. I mean, I was well known amongst the Horde, Butcher of, Winchester, all of those kind of... Wait, this isn't my world. Okay,
yeah,
no,
dude,
I don't know how
dimension.
they know me.
Can I, looking... I say no, I don't know in these people, but looking around, do I recognize any faces?
No. It's the bar is full. Again, there's there's the band that's just like up there jamming. You can see there's a bunch of there are booths along either side of the wall. A massive hearth crackling at the top of the room. The bar seems to be kind of on the left side of the hearth and kind of leads back into the kitchens and everything else. Band is playing, so bar's to the left, band is to the right. In the middle, we got like a bunch of those big, like wood, circular wooden tables with chairs about, and then booths kind of lining the sides. You can tell from a glance that this is an inn clearly built by people who know kind of what purpose they're trying to serve here. There's a lot of very social spaces for lonely travelers to kind of meet other people, like in a fucking hostel or some such. But there's also clearly a lot of like, if Aragorn was here waiting for the hobbits, he could have one of these booths and not be mad about it. You see a variety of servers kind of darting between the tables. You do notice there seem to be a lot of gnomes. A lot of the servers seem to be gnomes. The bartender is a gnome on stilts. They just seem to, like, you get the sense that probably the local population is likely gnomish. Can you roll me a perception check, please?
Both of us?
No, just Quinny, please, based on what you were asking.
Ooh, that's not a great roll. Perception 7.
7? You don't recognize anyone. Everything looks fine here. You observe absolutely nothing. But yeah, just a wide mix of people, and the bar is pretty packed. There is, in fact, only one available booth. Luckily, there is a gnomish woman striding up to you. She's wearing like a long purple apron, and she's got just like crazy 80s style shoulder pads that jut out from the jacket she's wearing under it. And she's like, "Oh, well, howdy, hi there. Welcome to Reunities. My name is Dahlia Hottentot, and I will be your server tonight. Ha ha! Oh, it's so nice to have you both here. And if I heard correctly, it's Reginald and where's your friend Quinny there that everyone just cheers?"
I legitimately don't know. You and I can see just as much of the little bastard as each other can.
Oh, okay. Dad, just make sure he stays out of our kitchens. That's off limits to anyone who isn't staff for sanitary reasons. I'm sure you understand. All right.
I'll do my best, but I can't stop him from doing anything.
I understand. That is the nature of people, isn't it? All right, come on, follow me. And she kind of weaves through the tables to the remaining booth. And she gestures for the two of you to sit. Reginald, this is your kind of booth. It's secluded. It's kind of far enough away from everyone. Still close enough that you can see the door, which is, of course, a like piece of mind for you. But yeah, she gets you to settle in, and then she like politely looks away and pretends to be distracted, Quinny, so you can slip into the booth.
She's like fully aware of my presence. I'll disable.
She's not aware of where you are, but she is aware
okay.
that someone invisible is clearly with Reginald.
Okay. Yeah, I'll still disable the invisibility on the ring. I don't want to upset anyone unnecessarily yet.
Great. She's like, oh, wow. Okay, there you are. Okay, that's funny. I thought you were over there. Oh, well, you know, next time, Delia, next time. All right, well, come on in, sit down. I'll get you to some waters and bring some menus. Can I get you anything to drink? To start. We also have a wonderful couple special on tonight. If you're interested, it's very romantic. Not sure if that's your deal, just figured I'd check.
Yeah, you know what? We'll take that. I'm a
not
big
our
fan
deal.
of the deal, and I bet it's cheaper than ordering 2 meals individually.
Well, now hold on. Is it? 'Cause-
Oh, I thought you had more to
not.
that.
no, is it cheaper?
Well, it depends on what you want. I mean, look, if you want the maximum amount of food and drink, if you want like a beautiful starter, some really good appetizers, a couple of glasses of our finest barrel champagne, and a good meal, then yeah, this is a pretty solid deal. Now, admittedly, if you don't want the booze, it's not a great deal.
No. We want the booze. This is perfect. We'll take that. That sounds amazing.
Okay, and are we celebrating a special occasion today?
Absolutely. It's the anniversary of our partnership.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, that's lovely. Okay, well, I'll be right back with our kissing swan napkins that come with the special, and I'll see you in a minute. And she turns and wanders off.
What are you doing, man?
You know, this place is pretty nice. People know our names. They also know your name, and you can't be invisible here. I feel like it really leveled the playing field between us.
Yeah, are we gonna fight here?
Are we?
This is what I'm talking. Like you're like leveling the playing field between us and stuff like that. Like, are you getting ready for some kind of brawl? Like, I don't like this place. I don't like that everyone knew us as we came in. I don't recognize anyone here. That doesn't make any sense.
Clearly, they've got some kind of spell on the door that just like knows people's names. You know, they do magical perimeters and stuff. You're a magic fellow. Why don't you see what's going on?
I've got the Eye of True Sight that Mordencainen gave to me. Can I use it to look around the bar?
Sure. So as you put it on, it's almost like if you turn on like night vision and there's light. For a second, it's almost painful, like this stupid fucking light that's hitting me. Thanks, the sun. There is magic everywhere here, but to Reginald's point, it seems to be a latent magic. Almost, it seems as though the entire space either is enchanted or it was constructed with enchantment woven into it. Can you roll me an Arcana check?
15.
Okay. You would, if you were to venture a guess, this would almost seem to be runic magic that is likely literally baked into the walls. but it seems very, very mild. Like you're not feeling any huge thing, but there is a slight aura of compulsion that seems to be drifting through the air. Sure enough, as you're looking around, a couple of people exit, and a traveler comes in. She's wearing like a long traveler's cloak, and as she steps in and kind of throws back her hood, everyone's like, "Janet!" And she's like, "Ah, what the fuck?"
Are we compelled to do that also?
Yes, you both yell it as well, and your hands raise as though you have glasses in them, but sadly you do not. After Janet kind of looks around in concern and starts making her way to the bar, you notice a table nearby is grumbling about, like, God, I didn't realize it was going to be so busy tonight. I just tell you, if I spill any more of this barrel champagne, I'm going to be fucking livid. How many more times do we need to greet people? And then Delia comes back with your waters and a couple of kissing swan napkins.
Great, thanks.
Those are cute. I like those.
How much does this cost? This whole service, where I think we're looking to get 2 of your rooms.
2?
Yeah, 2.
Well, unless one's cheaper. I mean, we don't have that much gold.
Oh no, I understand. I'm picking up what you're putting down here.
We're saving on the meal so we can splurge on the 2 rooms. You see, it's a great value.
Or do you have like a honeymoon suite? I bet that's cheaper than 2 rooms.
Dude, it's actually twice as expensive. And unfortunately it is booked tonight. But I think I understand. So 2 rooms, totally fine. It'll come out to be 300 gold, all said and done, for the 2 rooms and the meal.
Got it. I'll cover it. Fine.
Great. Wow, thank you.
Reginald just
she like elbows you and is like, "You've got a." It's very, very nice that he's picking up the tab, huh? It seems like a good guy.
Yeah, well, he's going to be a king one day, or so he tells me.
Aw, that's cute. So just a few ground rules, so you understand what's going on. You've probably already been warmly greeted, because here at Reunities, everyone knows your name. It's very important. For some reason, to our owner. So you will note that throughout the evening, as new guests enter, you'll be, you'll just feel an uncontrollable urge to greet them. Don't fight it. It hurts. It hurts so much. It's an unfortunate side effect. So best to just greet them warmly. After all, here at Reunities, we specialize in loving reunions. So, everyone's friends here. Your meal will be out in a little bit. Can I ask, do you want the soup or the salad?
Salad.
It's been kind of cold. I'll go soup.
Oh, interesting. A little bit of drama at the table. All right, great. I'll grab those for you. I'll be right back. And then she puts down a small barrel with ice in it that has a smaller barrel of champagne in it, and 2 glasses.
Great. I'll pour champagne for both
drinks.
of us. Yeah. And then Reginald looks across to Quinn and he's like, "So do you want to split it? Like you could have half the soup and I could have half the salad, because then we kind of get the best of both worlds here."
I ordered the salad because I think I'll be able to parse a little better what I'm actually eating.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not
what
sure I trust the food here.
Why not?
Because we're being compelled to greet people. I don't want to be compelled into anything else like eternal servitude or anything like that.
Yeah, but no, because they have to do a contract and stuff for that. Remember, like you paid them.
Whole ass cursed country, man. You don't think this place could maybe be not great?
Well, see, here's the thing about they're going to make you eat bad things. If we hadn't asked if there were kids in those pies, we would have just eaten nice pies and had a good day, except for the witches. The thing is, when you're in the Horde, a lot of stuff goes in the pot, and you just eat what's in the pot. And you don't ask questions, because when you do, it gets real spooky.
We're not in the Horde. What happened to the paranoid guy?
Oh, you're eating both things first. Why do you think I need you to try them both?
I'm not. That's not happening.
Well, then why? Well, then I can't eat. That's not fair. You need to do this. It'll help me out.
You don't have any rations on you from traveling?
Well, I don't think so. I mean, we were in that vampire land for a long time.
Look.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Tyler.
It was just going to be more shitty attitude from Quinny.
That's fair. I will say, if you roll an investigation check on your food, you can likely ascertain the nature of it if you roll well. If you don't, it's just whatever meat is in McDonald's. It's meat of a sort.
Okay.
Who knows?
Here's the deal. As long as you can look at it with your magic eye thing, then I'm going to be fine, because I'm immune to poison.
That's 1 use per day, so I used it to figure out what's going on with the bar here, and that's it. It's a good thing we're about to hit the sack, so I can use it on breakfast.
I mean, that's a reasonable idea, but we did order an expensive meal. I don't want to waste the gold.
We didn't order the expensive meal.
Well, I picked it out and you paid, so I feel like this is the nature of partnership here.
I'm trying to expedite the whole transaction. I'm trying to get some sleep. That larger town looks like a better, I don't know, gateway to hell than this place.
How do we get to hell? I've never here. Do you know what you could take? Do you want the bigger swan or the smaller swan?
I'll take the smaller swan.
Symbolism. All right. So he just like pushes the one kissing swan over to Quinny and takes the other one. So to get to hell, is there like some kind of hell elevator? Like what do we do to get down there?
Well, I was exploded by a guy that looks uncannily like you, by the way. Just keep that in mind for our, social exchanges. My friends came down to get me, and I don't think they died. So there must be some way to get to hell without ending your life. Does the Sun Scythe have any helpful information about that?
I think Reginald will just take the Sun Scythe out. It's a little rod now, and he just like taps it awkwardly on the table, just like bang, bang, bang. He's like,
ow,
hey,
ow.
How do we get to hell?
Oh, I don't know. I've never been.
Nah, this thing's not any good today. Just put it back in my belt.
Sure, fair enough. So as you're putting Sun Scythe away, Reginald, I imagine you would insist on sitting in a way in which you could see the door. Would that be fair? Mm-hmm. Okay. So,
yes. Back to wall, face the door.
Fair enough. So these are booths. Like you're sitting, like. Oh, actually, sure, we can do that. That's fine. I was originally thinking
he'll do that awkward, like face out a little bit.
The Han Solo special. Yeah, I got you.
Yes.
It's why all his action figures came with a bent elbow, so you could put them in chairs that they didn't sell. Hasbro. Yeah. So
has questions,
right? Not the bro we needed. So you're putting away as you're putting away the Sun Scythe, Quinny, you're jostled from behind. And as you turn to look, you see a sort of a youngish gnome, just kind of like push adorable rounded spectacles up his nose, and with kind of a quivering voice just says, "Sorry, mister. Geez," and continues to kind of awkwardly stumble along. He might be drunk. You're not sure.
And if I've been jostled, I want to make sure nothing's been lifted off of me. Have I been pickpocketed?
You've actually been reverse pickpocketed.
No, it's a grenade. I played Fallout. Shit.
Yes, this town, if you looked past the Hadsfield sign, it's actually Megaton.
No.
Now wait for 6 updates, and then I'll finally add NPCs. Get at me, Fallout 76 Twitter. So yeah, you feel in your pocket, and there's a note that seems to be like a folded piece of paper is in your pocket.
What does the note say?
Are you going to try and read it? You just have a split second before Reginald's looking. Are you going to try and do this without him noticing?
No. I'll take it out and be like, fucking little guy left me a note. Just like open it up.
You open it, and it says, "Dear Mr. Brown Barrow, we are very, very excited to meet you. Listen, my friends and I, we've got a job that I think could be very lucrative, and we would really like your help. If you're interested, come find us at the table next to the band. P.S. This band rocks, right? Right? Okay, sorry, I'm rambling. I'm rambling on paper. Okay. See you soon. Signed, The Urchins."
The Urchins.
And there's like a logo, but it's like that S that everyone drew in high school. But like
cool S.
Yeah, the cool S for cool cats.
Is the band good? That's a good measure of whether we can trust these people.
They're not. They're really not to your taste. This definitely, like, in modern terms, would be a bit like if you're used to going to bars and like having like a nice acoustic set going. You go to a bar and there's like an EDM DJ. So like obviously it's not that. But I mean, it sounds fine to you. The dancer in you is very well aware that like it'd be easy to jig to this. So like there's value in it, but it's really not anything you'd listen to or that you've really heard.
Okay.
And as you kind of like look to the band, you can see a whole table of sort of young rapscallions, almost dressed like the village people, in that they're all like the dud is making his way back to the table, but you can kind of pick out the personas that these people seem to have, yeah, they're sitting kind of conspiratorially with excitement in their eyes, and when they see you looking, they all kind of like try and subtly nod to you, and then kind of go back to the cards they're playing.
I want to look to was it Jenna, the traveler that came through the door? Janet, sorry. I want to look to Janet. Do I know anything about her besides like compulsively saying Janet when she comes through the door?
No, you don't. She just looks like you can see she's kind of settled in at the bar and has ordered, just a bowl of stew and.
So I didn't magically obtain any knowledge about her as she crossed the threshold or anything.
No, and even moments after you said like you kind of like her name's Janet, but it's quickly fading. Like it's almost like it triggered it for you, but it's not a lasting memory.
I'll put the note on the table for Reginald to see as well. And I'll say, Janet, what's her name? Janet over there who just came through the door. When she came through, we did the name thing, but I don't know anything about her. I don't know any details about her. Do you?
No, I don't know anything. I just know
so these guys on this letter, they know me well enough to want us for a job. They might actually know me.
Well, I mean, that's possible. Are you popular here? Like, is there
I've never
some
been
sort of...
here.
No, but I mean, like, around. Like, were you involved with any other sort of, like, celebrity adventures or anything that could spread your name far and wide?
Yeah, some.
Yeah, like, did anyone put your name on anything important that a lot of, like, lowlifes might know about?
Yeah, some.
Okay, so they might know you by reputation and just have heard the name quite. Here's the question. How much gold do you have?
On me right now?
Well, no, I mean total, like access to.
Access to? I don't know, a fair bit. A few thousand.
Okay, that's not going to be enough for us to hire a mercenary army to march into hell. So I'm thinking we might want to take this job.
With the goal of eventually hiring a mercenary army to march into hell?
What, you want to just go the two of us? I'm not crazy.
I mean, it's stealthier.
I'm carrying a flaming warhammer. I have a glowing god scythe, and I'm like 6'4".
Yeah, you're gonna fit in perfect. Look at your armor.
Is that what hell's like? Everyone's tall and has scythes?
A lot of big flaming weapon guys down there, yeah. I mean, it's all different folks for different strokes and stuff, but there's definitely a flaming weapon faction that I can confirm.
I don't know how many of me I can fight, though. Like, I'm pretty good. Like, if there's like 2 or 3 of me, we're fucked.
I'm talking about blending in. I'm not talking about fighting head on.
Delia is sitting there with soup and salad, like doing that awkward server thing where she's standing just close enough that she can deliver it, but just far enough away that she's waiting to not interrupt your conversation. She's like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. And we've got soup and salad, and she puts them down in the wrong spots.
Thanks, Delia. I got a quick question for you. If you had to go into hell, would you rather go with an army of mercenaries or try to blend in?
Well, which ring?
Which ring?
There's different. I mean, look, I don't know much about this. I just like talking to people. But as I understand it, there's a bunch of different realms down there. Like, you're talking to Vernus?
Which one are we going to, Quinny?
The circus one. the big ring, you know.
Sorry.
Ring circus? No?
Wow. No, I think you've been misinformed. That seems very silly. What a silly thing to be in hell. Anyway, no, I mean, I guess if I was going there, I'd probably want my partner. And then she just puts a hand on Reginald's shoulder. She says, the people you can really trust. Is he who you'd take?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah. Sorry, Quiddy, I am talking to you. Yes. Would you take Reginald here?
I don't really have any other choice.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Reginald. At least you're still his pick, right? Better than nothing.
Yeah, we feel the same way.
I'm sorry about that. Oh, and I mixed up your soups and salads. Oh, I'm so sorry. And she swaps them. Like, okay, so for your mains, we have a wonderful baked fish. that we get from like the local river. Very tasty. Alternatively, we have a lobster, which you may not have seen. They are terrifying creatures, but very delicious if you soak them in enough butter. And we have a lamb stew, which I know sounds kind of basic, but we always pride ourselves here at Reunities on making sure that everything has just a little extra special kind of kick to it. So it's a little bit more flavorful than a normal stew at a normal inn.
I guess I'll have the fish.
Fish, sure.
Yeah, and I'll do the second thing, whatever that was.
Okay, the lobster, great. Do you have any dietary restrictions I should be aware of? Any allergies? Would you like to see the ingredient list? Some of our customers are worried about getting poisoned.
I would love to see the ingredient list, actually. I've got a pretty kind of sensitive stomach, so like no cursed meals or enchanted meals or anything like that. Like this couple's meal, if it makes us fall in love with each other, that's not going to work for me. You know, just regular food.
No, we spent all of our magic budget on the cheers thing at the door. That's very cute. A couple's meal that makes you fall in love. That's very good, though. You know, I should... That's funny. Well, next time the Wizard's by, I'll see if we can set that up. That's great.
I feel like that's not a good idea.
She's
Dahlia?
already gone. No, she's
Dahlia.
She's gone.
Oh, shit. Well, I'll tell her when she comes back with the mains.
So the music kicks up. A bunch of people start to leave. The night's kind of dragging along. I think you've passed the point of like rough hell conversation ultimately ended in a stalemate of, okay, maybe mercenaries, maybe not, but there does seem to be a consensus that taking this job might be the way to go. I think you're at the point in the meal, like waiting for the meal, where you'd probably be like checking your cell phones, which in this case I think is like Quinny looking at that paper. And Reginald, what do you do when you're in awkward silence at a dinner?
I feel like he just pets his donkey. Like he just like Donkey Jr.
Donkey's outside.
Oh,
Then I think he's just like, he awkwardly starts moving his hand as though he's petting a donkey, but there's nothing there and he realizes it. And then he's just like,
what are you doing?
Just fill in the time. I mean, you don't really seem like you want to talk, so fill in the time.
Is there something you want to talk about?
I don't, why don't you like me?
Which is exactly when Dahlia shows up with the meals and is like, and just like
Dahlia, just come on.
Puts the plates down, and she says, "Enjoy your dinners." And then someone bursts through the door, and she turns around. She's like, "Jerome!" And everyone's like, "Jerome!" And you're both like, "Jerome!"
Jerome.
Jerome, that handsome bastard.
She's like, "Oh, that's Jerome. He delivers the bread. Oh, he really hates this place." And he just like,
through the front.
A guy just like trudges through, and he's like, and disappears into the back.
Well, I hope he can carry it all in one trip.
Yeah. Oh boy. Oh man. Yeah. That's a good point. I'm not sure whether Quinny addresses the elephant in the room or if he tries to take a look at this fish to see if it's like suspect.
Yeah, so she dropped off the menu as the ingredient list as well, just kind of tucked under the plate. And yeah, it looks actually pretty basic. You know, it's some spices, some, like a sort of a cream sauce. But happily, all the ingredients seem like things you can clearly visually identify or smell. So like garlic, that sort of thing. But go ahead and roll me an investigation check if you wouldn't mind.
Reginald's already eating.
Roll.
Great.
Sadly, but eating.
Does Reginald know how to eat a lobster? How do you think he eats a lobster? I really want to know. Is it like Tom Hardy venom?
I feel like he would start there and then spit it out and then feel like it's got like a shell and then he'd try to crack it open like an orange and eat the insides.
Cool. Queen, what'd you get from your investigation?
13 for investigation.
13? All right. Yeah, honestly, this looks like it's the thing it says it is. There doesn't seem to be any, and also like in terms of Arcana, just kind of reaching out with your Warlock senses, it doesn't seem to be any issue with it.
All right, I'll start to eat as well.
Quinny is a man who loves food and has not had a proper meal in some time. This is a fucking revelation. Like, this is just...
Oh, no, it's delicious.
It's as close to the meals you remember from growing up with, like just classic hearty halfling food from your farm and from other places. It is Absolutely delicious. And I'm going to give you 1 point of inspiration for finally getting a proper meal.
Thank you.
Shit, you're gonna need inspiration later.
And
In the classic form, I'll forget about it. So
Reginald, once you get through the shell, like admittedly, I think the food in the Horde was so spooky that like this is weirdly like it's a nightmare crustacean, but at the same time like you know this.
It's perfect. Anything that doesn't have a cute face, I can eat easily.
Yeah, absolutely. So you enjoyed that. Quinny, as you're eating, you continue to see the urchin table kind of looking at you expectantly and then going back to their cards. You can tell from having looked over a few times that it is clearly a staged card game because no one has bothered to change chips in quite some time. Like they're moving through the hands, but like no one is
right.
exchanging chips. So given that you've kind of agreed with Reginald, do you think you would go over and talk to them on your own, or would you wait for him to like use the bathroom? Like what's your approach here?
I would approach the table. Is there room for me to sit at the table?
Yeah. They make room. They scoot until they're uncomfortably close on the bench, but like they want to make sure there's room. And as you walk up, you just do be like, "Oh, he's coming. Look cool." And they all like try and look cool, but they're like gangly teenagers, so they all kind of suck at it.
Yeah. And Reginald, are you coming over with me, or are you gonna stay in your spot with the?
Did you tell me you were going over to them, or did you just get up and go? Like, what was
I would have said like we're done the meal. I would have been like, lifted up the note and be like, all right, I'm gonna follow up on this.
Yeah.
Right.
As you get up, Dahlia's like, I'll be by with dessert in a few minutes. So whatever you're doing, just make sure you're back because it's delicious.
You know, I'll stay here and wait for dessert. You go negotiate whatever you need. Remember, get enough money that we could get mercenaries if we want them.
How much is that if I'm looking for?
You figure we're going to hell, so they're going to be expensive. Probably like, 100 gold a day. Oh, no. We can cut that down. We'll get worse mercenaries. Numbers matter. 10 gold a day per mercenary for 10 days gets us 100, like 100,000 gold to be good.
100,000. And that's enough to pay mortals to march into hell.
Yeah. People are desperate. You got to go to the right town. You got to get the right terms.
Okay, I'll keep that number
But
in
make
mind.
a note, if they have to kill themselves, we're getting fewer people for the same money, because I think that's going to be a real tough sell.
Got it. Okay. And I'll head over to the table.
Okay. So yeah, they're desperately trying to look cool as you walk up, and they all simultaneously attempt a Blofeld like spinny chair, like well. But because they're all trying to do it, they all kind of bump into each other and realize that they hadn't coordinated it, and like they drop their cards. Someone like a bunch of spring-loaded cards shoot out of his sleeve. He's like, oh no, oh shit. He starts like collecting them, and they're like, oh, dice, when will you learn? Finally, there's a lady who's like, hey, I am, and she seems to be like kind of the coolest of them. She's a human. And she just looks around. She's like, hey, I am really sorry about all of that. We're just very excited to meet you, Mr. Brown Barrow. You are a goddamned legend. And the fact that we ran into you here is insane. We're all kind of losing our minds.
I'm flattered. How I'm just curious, how do you know me?
Oh, you're Quinny Brown Barrow. You're the infamous thief who stole a thiefy, the first to ever do it. They named the awards after you. We know all about your exploits. You robbed the Oasis. Everyone thought you were dead. It turns out you weren't, which is crazy. We heard you broke out of jail twice.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Wow, you guys know more about me than I thought was kind of general knowledge.
Are you kidding? You're inspiration. Anytime we can hear any stories about famous thieves, we always ask. We know about Meryl Streep. We heard about Bryn. We've got all sorts of tales about Avalon Riker. That guy seems dope. Yeah, no, we love thieves. We even subscribe to the Thieves Guild newsletter. It hasn't arrived in about 2 years, but like we're hoping to get another issue soon.
Right. Okay. I think I like you guys, so I'm telling you right now, that might be a grift. That might be a classic Thieves Guild grift. If you're subscribed to something or service you have not received in 2 years, and you're still paying your subscription, that they might just be fleecing you.
They all turn to Dice, and he's like, okay, fine. I owe you all a pop.
So I got your note there, fella. Not a bad job. I did immediately notice that you tried to slip something to me, but it was pretty good. I thought you were actually trying to do a pull, but that was good. What can I do for you?
Well, we have a line on a job. My name's Lyndon, and this is my crew. We're called the Urchins, because people keep yelling, "Get off my lawn, you urchins!" And we were like, we're taking it back. But we're just starting out, and we've pulled a couple grifts, a couple cons, but honestly, we're a little hopeless, as you can see. And honestly, having a mentor would be so cool, but we're not going to ask that of you, but kind of maybe. Anyway, look, we got a line on a big score. Too big for us, but maybe not too big if we have you. Look, up the way, there's a town. And there is a wizard's tower there. And apparently, there is going to be some kind of mystical something or other. Some kind of, like wizards use stuff and whatever. So they're doing a wizard thing.
Crazy with that, yeah.
Yeah, right. They're all like, magic. And I'm like, screw you, magic. Thieves for life, am I right? Anyway.
For sure.
Yeah, so anyway, our buddy Mickey found out about this, and he told us about it. And it sounds like they're bringing in a bunch of really expensive arcane bullshit to try and do this magic thing. So we're thinking, if they're all excited about their ceremony or whatever, we can probably lift some of this stuff, and I bet we could sell it to people for a lot of money. Because arcane stuff always seems to sell for more than rich people stuff. Is that true? That's true, right?
It's usually pretty valuable, but it's also incredibly dangerous, especially if you don't know what the arcane stuff does. Do you know what this ceremony is?
We don't really, but the nice thing is that from the sounds of what Mickey was able to find out, it seems like they're bringing in a bunch of different pieces to put together. So we're not talking about stealing the final thing, because that sounds like death. That just sounds like how thieves die. We're just talking about stealing some of the parts. And honestly, maybe that means they can't even do their magic thing, and that would probably be pretty good for everyone, right? When was the last time someone did something with magic that was actually good?
I don't know. A pretty benevolent wizard gave me this eye, and I lift my eye patch to reveal my.
They're all like, "Yo!" And Dice is like, "I mean, I've got this," and then the cards shoot out at awkward angles, and one of them hits him in the face, and he's like, "I'm sorry. Yeah, that is pretty cool. Fuck, he's so cool."
Flip the eye patch down.
They're like, okay, so that one wizard seems cool, but I mean, I don't know. Do you trust random small town wizards? We do not.
Right. Okay. So do you guys have a ballpark for how much you're looking to make off of this job?
I mean, we've never had to
around the neighborhood
fence
of 100,000 gold.
I mean, I don't know. Probably to the right wizard. We could. I mean, Mickey was. And I mean, admittedly, Mickey's been at this a lot longer than we have. He was ballparking 75,000.
Do you have a fence lined up already for this kind of stuff? Because the worst thing to do is to pull off a job and then hold hot merchandise, especially enchanted merchandise, while you're trying to find a fence.
Yeah. So, Mickey knows a guy from the old days, and he said all we need to do is lift it and then get word to this guy. He's part of a fence network that operates just outside Baldur's Gate. So he said he'll be able to move it through there. And as you know, Baldur's Gate's it's a bit of a cesspit. So I'm pretty sure that'll work out just fine. But honestly, Mickey said he used this guy for everything. He's one of the 3 people Mickey trusts, and Mickey doesn't trust anyone.
Except for 3 people.
Except those 3 people, yeah. And that's why it's significant to us. He's got trust issues, so if he likes these people, that really means something.
Okay. Let me take this information to my person. Quinny can't think of what to call Reginald. That guy, and we'll talk it over.
Whoa. Are you sure you want to bring that guy in on this? Is that safe?
He knows Merle Street.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he knew Merle Street.
All right. But
they were pretty close.
Look, I hate to do this, but we have from the one Thieves newsletter we got. They warned us to not let other people pull off heists. So, on your honor as a named thief, who has inspired a generation of thieves to pick up the cause and to really see what cool loot we can steal. Will you please promise to help us? And to not fuck us over or try and do it on your own, because that would really suck. And we haven't given you the details yet, so like...
I know. I'm going to discuss with that guy. And then I'll be in a better position to promise on my name as a known thief. But for now, let's not commit to anything.
Okay, we understand. That's fair, Mr. Brownbrow. Thank you for your time. We covered your dessert. And they all nod to each other.
Great. Thanks. Appreciate it. I'll be back in a bit. And I go back over to...
You just hear them being like, holy shit, he was so cool. He's so much taller than I thought. That's awesome. Oh, man, I love his cloak. Like, they're all just, like, completely, like, fan-kidding out about you. Which, admittedly, Quinny, it's been a fucking long time since someone respected how good you are at everything.
It's nice, but extremely alien and strange.
So as you're talking to them and kind of making this arrangement, just as you turn to head back, the door just gets booted open, and a bunch of guys walk in wearing like you can smell them as they come in. It's the smell of like metal and oil and oiled armor, and just like, you know, spiky plate, black forged armor, big wicked looking axe over his shoulder, a couple of people behind him, and as they walk in, of course, everyone grabs a drink and just yells, Kira Bloodfist! Junpei Hachiro! Fluffy McSnugglekin! And Reginald, your stomach drops because you recognize these guys because they're from your fucking platoon. And as they come in, Kira, who's kind of leading the way, just a scary fucking monk who doesn't wear any armor below the shoulder and is just like scary ripped, like just fucking huge, like arms in a I want you to stare at how big my arms are, that are just like covered in tattoos, that you remember are mementos of all of her victims. She gets tattooed up and down her arms. And she just puts out both of her arms and stops the big guy with the axe behind her and a couple others, and she goes, holy shit. Reginald! And she just like barrels over the table. Delia's like, hi there. She gets shoved out of the way, and they're like, Reginald Tingler, you son of a whore, you're alive?
Well, I've been waiting for you somewhere, haven't I been? Nothing kills a horde.
Yay, horde! And they all jump up there.
There's like, a lot of horde jumping. And then I'd say there's probably like some officious sort of like it's the forearm shake that becomes a hug. Like it looks like one of those war veteran reunions.
Yeah, exactly. So you embrace Kira, which is kind of like hugging a concrete block. You hug Junpei, and he's again just like big dude with armor and an axe. His hug is a lot more mechanical, largely because based on the size of his axe and the weight of his armor, he's one of those dudes who like can only really like kind of bring his arms up to shoulder height. So it's kind of like a do my best. You go to hug Fluffy McSnugglekin, who is like a rail thin elf, who just has like several tears tattooed, leaking out of both of his eyes, and has a stitched shut mouth. And you hesitate because he's truly a horrifying person to touch. But he extends his kind of arms, and he's somehow always moist. You're not sure why. And as soon as he hugs you, you hear kind of like a whisper of screams, and your body goes cold. And then he releases you, and suddenly like all the warmth just kind of shoots back into your body, and you're able to breathe again. I mean, you've high-fived this guy before. You know this happens, but it's still unsettling every time. And then he nods and jumps in the air and clicks his heels.
So, take a seat, friends. What have you guys been up to? And he'll just like bring them into the booth so that he's got, he's back in the corner, but now he's got them between him and the room.
Sure. So, Quinny, as you turn to walk back to the table, you see this entire crew just kind of like plow into your table. And you see Dahlia kind of getting up and being like, "Oh, it's too many for that table." So they crowd in, and Kira just like grabs the barrel of champagne, and kind of chugs it, and then like yells another and drops it, and the barrel bounces, and she's like, "That is dissatisfying. God, this place sucks. Reginald, the fuck happened to you? Where you been? We lost you in the fight."
Sometimes you fight, and sometimes you get blasted through a portal to another world by the Alliance.
Right?
This is where I ended up. What happened to you?
Same fucking thing. We were in the middle of just massacring these assholes. And they were like, "Oh no, we're unarmed, we're civilians." And we're like, "Yeah, cool. All right, we'll write that on your graves, asshole." Anyway, we just watched Fluffy just fucking drain a guy. Like he just turned, like he looked like an apple that you've like left out in the sun, just like a withered, like, it was great. But then we looked up and you were gone. And like, this was crazy. But Rhino was like, "I think he fucking ran away." And I was like, "You shut your mouth, you piece of shit." And then I ripped off his jaw and I stuffed it down his throat, because no one says shit about Captain Reginald. So anyway, after he was finished bleeding out, we went looking for you. We couldn't find you. We were like looking. And then the next thing we know, there's all these fucking undead motherfuckers. And we're like, "What?" So then we start fighting them. And then there were these orcs. And we're like, "What?" We start fighting them. And so we're killing these undead guys. We're killing these orcs. And we found this like dead goblin who'd been squished. It was super gross. And I loved it. Anyway, I smelled real bad though. But we kept looking around, and you were nowhere to be found. And then lo and behold, we realized we weren't in fucking Kansas anymore. As you recall, Kansas was the battlefield we were battling on against the Alliance, but we just weren't there anymore. We realized we're in this fucking soft-ass world. And man, this world is fucking soft, right? Like, look at that. Look at that thing you were just eating. It doesn't even have a cute face. What the shit?
I know. It's different here. Everyone seems hopeful and peaceful and all of those things. We just slaughtered an army of vampires inside a castle,
Well, wait, did they betray or something? Like, why would you slaughter the allies?
Well, in this world, vampires are their own faction that want to eat everybody. And when
What?
you come at Reginald,
Bullshit.
you go home in a dustbin, am I right?
Yeah. That's what we said to Rhino as he was choking to death on his own jaw. That was so good. Oh, man, his wife and kids are going to be so pissed.
Yeah, if somebody hasn't eaten them.
Yeah, this guy, he's back. Hey, yo, can we get some more of this bubbly garbage? Anyway, listen, man, we'd love to chat more. It's so good you're here. We're and she finally like kind of drops the joviality a bit, leans in. She's like, we're working on something pretty big. We're gonna need your help. I think you're really gonna like it though. It's got lots of carnage, lots of danger, lots of violence.
All right, let's hear the plan. What have you got for me?
All right, well, look, we're not the right ones to explain it to, and we definitely can't talk about it here. And honestly, time's a bit of the essence for us tonight. So, look, we'll swing by and pick you up tomorrow. Do whatever you gotta do. It looks like you got like a hot date or something, because like you got the whole couples deal. You got like kissing swans and shit. So like, go get your rocks off. Am I right? And anyway, once you've humped him and dumped him, as I'm sure is what you're planning on doing, we'll come back and get you tomorrow. All right?
Yep. You know me. Just tagging him and bagging him. It's what
That's
I do.
right. This guy fucks.
So
this guy
many
fucks.
Sexual partners.
That's what I like about this guy.
I fucked. I've smushed boobs and such. I've done it all.
Yeah.
God.
All right. Well, listen, it's been a slice, but we gotta go have words with the bread man. We'll pick you up tomorrow morning. All
Wonderful.
right?
You do that. It's been a slice now. It'll be a stab tomorrow.
Yeah, damn right. Go hard.
Go hard.
All right.
Go
Fuck,
hard.
I'm so glad you're alive and not a traitor. Because, man, if I killed Rhino for nothing, oh boy, would I be mad. I'd have to, like, cover up this. And there's, like, a hastily tattooed image of, like, a guy with, like, bulging eyes choking on his own jawbone. She's like, all right, cool. Yeah, you You keep it sexy. All right, bye. Let's go. And then they get up and kind of tromp off into the kitchen.
Yep. I forgot keep it sexy was the regiment motto. Things that just escape you over time.
Moments later, Quinny, you return to the table with news of the urchins, but also with some.
Oh no, are they orphans also?
No, I mean, yeah, they sure are.
Oh my god.
But you've got news of the urchins, but also probably some questions about what all that was.
Yeah, I'll come back, and that'll probably be the first thing. Is I'll just say, so what was that about?
You know, why don't you go first? I'm still processing. What do you got for us?
All right, and I'll just go over basically everything that they told me, just to gauge your interest, Reginald. They haven't given us the details yet or anything like that, and we were quoted at only 75,000 gold as the takeaway. That we'll probably have to split with them because they're the ones who have A, the fence, and B, they're the ones who kind of found the job to begin with. But it's a fair bit of gold. Don't know anything about the ceremony. Okay, so what you're thinking is
we do the job with them, then at the end we find Mickey, we kill the others, we go with Mickey to Baldur's Gate, then we kill Mickey and take all the money?
No, I was thinking we just honor the deal if we do it at all.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm still used to the people who come with ideas and like plans in my world. Do they seem good? Like, are they? Can we do this without them? Like, we know the tower.
They seem to really, really admire me, which is strange. But I thought it was again like an effect of this establishment or something. But they actually were able to list like actual things I've done. Like, it seems like they actually know about me.
Okay, well, I mean that seems interesting. I'm not sure about trusting the. As far as I could tell, gang of children over by the stage who are bad at pretend cards.
A bunch of them are gnomes. They're not kids. They're fully grown people who are just small.
I guess. I'm just saying, they seem terrible at crime, which is always a red flag up front.
I would actually agree with you there. They're not super great at crime. But I mean, A for effort. I mean, that counts for part of it.
Oh, sorry. Finish off your bit there.
I was just going to say, but from what I can tell so far, the deal is interesting, and Wizard's Tower, that might be a good place to start looking for a portal to hell.
It's not a bad idea. We can always steal what we need anyways. Might not even want to sell it. It could be useful stuff. Or we could ransom it back to the wizard. We can see how it plays out. Yeah. So I'd like to introduce what I would call the complications. Turns out a random percentage of my regiment, the Bone Crushers, keep it sexy, have come through to this world after me. There are 3 of them here who are very dangerous, and possibly more, and they have some sort of plan that I'm assuming will get us back to the hellscape of a war world. They're going to come tomorrow to pick me up because I definitely want to go back to rejoin the Horde in our endless losing conflict surrounded by people who murder each other over insults.
You said that last bit in kind of a weird way. Do you want to go back?
No.
Okay. And with that, Dahlia arrives, clears her plates, and delivers dessert. It's a simple dessert, but kind of nice. It's like a little scoop of ice cream with like a couple of cinnamon sticks, and like a nice little folded cookie.
Dahlia, don't force people to fall in love with magical food. Okay.
Okay.
Look, don't commission a wizard to do it. It's not a good idea, Dahlia. It's not a reputation you want to bring to this franchise.
Don't you love love?
Love is great. And boy, who loves love and love more than Quinny?
Dahlia, let's say there was a local wizard. Could he make people fall in love if we were to pay him to?
I don't know, actually. We'd have to ask him. But honestly, there isn't really a local wizard. There was a wizard's tower, but he doesn't live there anymore. There is a wizard who comes by from time to time.
I hear there's a big to-do at that wizard's tower coming up. You know anything about that?
No, I'm afraid we don't. Honestly, we don't go into town too much. We kind of really like it here. It's really nice out here, and generally speaking, towns are full of quests and sub-quests and villains and conspiracies, and here we're just a humble bar, although I am a little concerned about those folks who just came in.
Yeah, is Jerome in the back? It sounded like they were going after the bread guy. So if Jerome's still in there, he might be in trouble. I don't know.
Okay. Jerome can handle himself, I'm sure. But that's enough. I'll sort that out. Sorry, you're our guests here, and I feel like my hospitality has been truly lacking.
You're fine.
Okay, well, good. Excellent. I will bring over some more barrel champagne, because it would seem that those folks made use of yours. Here it comes now. And you can see, like, a bunch of the staff are coming in, carrying it.
What is this?
And they're like, happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary, Queenie and Reginald's anniversary. And they put the barrel down. They pour you each glasses in, like, the special anniversary glass, which has, like, hearts on it. And she just says, yeah, here you go. All right. And on the count of 3, everyone is going to cheers, right? And everyone, all the other tables are like, oh, fuck, no. She's like, we have so many enchantments here. So the staff, who are all, like, barely keeping a veneer of happiness, are like, okay, are you ready? Here's a wish for the 2 of you to have just the best anniversary. I really hope things work out for the 2 of you. 1, 2, 3, cheers! And the entire bar lifts their glasses. You 2 begrudgingly lift yours, clink them together, and then everyone throws them back. And then they go around, they collect all the... it shatters, and they're like, oh no! Oh well, that happens. They go and collect. It's like a wedding where they do a toast and everyone gets complimentary champagne. So everyone had like an inch of champagne that is being collected. She's like, that's lovely. Okay, well, thank you so much. Enjoy your desserts. Your 2 rooms are being prepared. They'll be ready for you in a few minutes. I assume you want the ingredient list for this as well?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, it's ice cream, cinnamon, and a cookie.
Got it. Just like look down at it. Seems legit.
Yeah.
Spot the 3 things that she described.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, just don't eat the paper.
Why would I? No. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Dahlia.
She nods as though she is 100% certain you understand. And then she fucks off.
See, the great thing about this world, for example, is you could say it's your anniversary and they just bring you free things. On my world, they check your ID every time, and if you lied, they rip your skin off your face.
At the restaurants?
Yeah. Where else would they do it? In the street? We're not animals.
All right. Yeah, look, I don't blame you for not wanting to go back to that place. Every time you describe it, it sounds worse and worse. That being said, it sounds like your friends from the Bone Crushers there, they don't share that attitude. They want to go back, or do they want to take over this, plane of existence?
That's a great question that I actually don't entirely know how to answer. My guess would be either go back or open a portal to allow the Horde to come here to crush this existence.
See, because I would be happy to send them back, If they, however, are fixing to make trouble here, how do you feel about how strong are those bonds between you and those Bone Crushers?
Oh, well, I would say they were very strong then, and they're kind of a question mark now. I'm having a real problem with overall loyalty in my existence, just all the way around. So I'd say,
yeah, I've definitely contributed to that. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, if they've got shared goals, then I don't know. Maybe. It depends on what the hell they want. Do I think I couldn't kill them? No. But, I couldn't. Could I not kill you? No, I don't know. It all depends on how the future goes. I'm not a guy who likes to lie about these things once someone knows how I work on the inside.
Sure.
We both know you're planning to kill me constantly, and then we don't know how it's going to work out.
Yeah.
Someone bursts through the door.
Lets that go. I was like, yeah, totally.
Yeah. Someone bursts through the door, and there's a gust of wind as they enter, and everyone's like,
wind.
Winfred! And he's like, yeah, it's me. And there's just like a lot of like rain coming off him. And outside you can see that a heavy storm has picked up. It's sort of a torrential downpour. The wind is like actively blowing, and everyone who's like cheersing him is also like getting sprayed with water and kind of being like, close the fucking door, dude. And you hear like a peal of thunder in the distance, and he slams the door and he's like, oh, weather, huh? That rain.
Sure.
And he just kind of like stumbles in, puts his coat up. He's clearly very comfortable here, makes his way to the bar.
Norm, a sort of a Norm.
Once he gets to the bar, everyone legitimately turns and is like, Winfred! So yes, he's very much the norm of the establishment.
Got it. Okay.
So here's what I'm thinking, Quinny. Take the deal. We can always betray the gnomes if we need to. Otherwise, we can honor it for an unknown reason. And tomorrow, I can go meet with the Horde and hope they don't kidnap me. If you do come with me, though, I do have to be clear. They think I'm a general of the Horde, and you're a little random person from a squishy, cowardly world. If you say a rude thing to me, they will rip your jaw off and choke you to death with it. And that may sound like I'm really exaggerating, but one of them did that to a guy yesterday and already has a tattoo in commemoration. And he just said, I may have run away. So imagine that that's the bar for brutal murder. Murder is still politer insults than that, and anything outrightly derisive is worse.
Oh, I mean, I could hide or kill one of them if that would, earn me some respect. I don't know.
I don't know if that would earn you. It could. It depends on how you play it. If you are going to kill one of them, I would request Fluffy McSnugglekin, because that motherfucker is terrifying, and he makes me so cold when he touches me, and I hate it.
Okay. Keep that in mind.
So your ice cream is rapidly melting.
Oh, I'm gonna eat the shit out of this.
And sorry, Tyler, what were you gonna say?
I'll give him my ice cream also. I'll be like, here, buddy, you go nuts on that. But
I feel like he's got low blood sugar after Fluff's hug, so he's just gonna go to town.
Yep. Go ahead, Tyler. You had some.
Yeah, just about double crossing the gnomes. You mentioned it as like an option. It doesn't have to be like our first option. And I know you say honor the deal for an unknown reason. I want you to kind of imagine a world where people say things and then that's actually what they do.
Oh man, that'd be so weird.
Yeah. I think that's maybe something we could strive for here with at least with the gnomes.
Okay, then why don't you like me?
Why don't I like you? Because you stole. Well, no, I mean let's like getting into the details. Ultimately, you do look like my killer, and that's just a tough one to shake. You killed your dimension's version of von Strauss, but again, that's someone that I kind of like, even though it seems like he was in a bad way from where you came from. Then, yeah, going into the contract thing, I mean, we kind of covered that. You know why I don't like you about the contract thing, right?
I'm going to be honest, none of these complaints really make sense to me. I look like someone, I killed someone you don't know who is a crazy man who actually blew himself up more than I killed him.
It definitely comes from a place of bias.
I took a deal that affects me and not you.
This is why I don't like you. It's not why the rain falls from the sky or why the sun rises. These are not hard, cold facts. It's just how I feel.
So how do I change that?
I don't have a solution to that problem. I'm open to figuring it out together.
And with that, you both fall into an uneasy silence as Reginald just panic eats ice cream. Leaving just the 2 fortune cookies. So I need you each to please roll me a D100 to determine which fortune you get from your adorable cookies. Because, guys, I gotta tell you, I spent a lot of time on DM's Guild, and sometimes you find really weird tables.
63.
63 for Reginald?
Yeah, do you want mine now, or do you want to read out his?
Yeah, give me mine, because I have to look them both. I have to look at my
96.
Ooh, 96. Okay, so as exhaustion begins to take both of you, you kind of sit in silence. Quinny, you need to go tell the urchins that you're in, so you'll do that in a moment. And Reginald knows he has to kind of get back to. He's got a lot of prep to do to set up his bedroom for sleep. particularly if the Bone Shakers are coming tomorrow. So, Reginald, sorry, yours was 63?
Yes.
Okay, so you crack your cookie, and it says, a life without friends is no life at all. And Quinny, you said you wouldn't eat the paper. Did you understand she was referring to a slip of paper that was in the cookie, or would you just wholesale bite into this cookie?
Has Quinny ever seen a fortune cookie before?
I don't think so. I mean, maybe.
He would have. You just take a full-on chomp into that paper.
Right. So you bite in, you feel the paper, it's gross. You take it out, it's got like half-chewed food on it. Look, I'm not saying I've done this before,
yeah, got it.
but I have done this before, and it's never
Tom.
pleasant.
So now you can only read him half of his fortune.
No, he gets the whole thing. He just has to squint. But he doesn't get the lotto numbers on the back. And Quinny, you had 96?
Yeah.
You get a harder life yields a harder heart.
All right.
And with that, Dahlia swings by and she's like, okay, normally I would say your suite is ready, but in this case, your rooms are ready. I hope you had a good anniversary. I know relationships are tough. And don't worry, sir. I promise I won't get the wizard to make people fall in love. Maybe.
Appreciate that. No, see, Dahlia,
I'm kidding. But am I? Anyway, I really appreciate it.
Dahlia.
Okay, no, I am kidding. I don't have that kind of power. In any case, I hope you enjoyed your meal. Breakfast will be bright and early tomorrow. You can come down anytime between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. Now, we have a very strict cutoff at 10 a.m. because we have to get ready for the lunch rush. But come down, your free continental breakfast of dry toast and questionable eggs will be ready then. So thank you very much. And again, happy anniversary, you two. I wish you both all the best.
Great, thanks. Hey, how late is this place open? Like, am I going to be shouting people's names while I try to sleep upstairs?
Oh, no, the rooms are immune from the reunities. Everyone knows your name enchantment.
Fantastic. Best news I've had all day.
Oh, that's sad on your anniversary, but okay. All right. Well, best of luck, you two. I'm rooting for you. All right. You have yourselves a good night. And then there's just like a massive peal of thunder. And she's like, okay. It's gonna be a loud one. Okay. So with that, you kind of she starts to clear the table. You can tell things are kind of winding down. There seems to be an enchantment on the hearth that's kind of like lowering the light on the flame without actually reducing the heat. Quinny, as you get up to go talk to the urchins, you can actually see faintly glowing runes in the hearth stones around it. So those are at least exposed and kind of confirm your belief. Reginald, what do you say to Quinny before you head upstairs?
I think Reginald's just caught up in thought. There's too much going on. I don't think he's got anything left after that convo.
All right, so Reginald, you awkwardly sort of clear your plates, or like squish out of the table, and you make your way upstairs. Quinny, you head over to the urchins, who at this point are looking pretty sleepy. Like they've been. This has been a big day for them. They met Quinny Brownbarrow.
I think as a fun little thrill for them, I will confirm that we're in for the job in Thieves' Cant.
All right, let's hear it.
It's the same as always because I can't actually beatbox, so it's just as I walk by.
Amazing.
And I make sure that like they're not so green that they don't actually understand me.
Their eyes kind of go wide, and one of them leans over and they're like, "Wow, he uses a really old version of Thieves' Cant." And they're like, "Shut up, Dice. It's cool. I mean, it was cool when he was little."
Wait, what's the new version? But Quinny's too proud to really ask. And
as you walk away, you just hear someone go, "Boy, boy, 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 boy," and then two of them respond, and you're like, "Kids."
Oh fuck, no, never mind. I'm good. I'm glad.
Kids today.
I'm glad it's.
So you make your way upstairs. Reginald and Quinny, what's one thing you do before bed in your room?
Reginald booby traps the shit out of his room. I'm talking like the flaming warhammer goes under the doorknob, so it's like Home Alone heated on the door that he would also pin shut. He'd rig up the crossbow to shoot anybody who opens the window. Like do the same shit he always does, like break glass everywhere so that he can sleep in the middle of the room holding his scythe so that if any glass crunches, he's ready to murder people.
Quinny, how about you?
Nothing so extreme as that. I think Quinny will take the majority of his valuables that aren't already in the bag of holding, load them into the bag, and then sleep with the bag of holding.
Okay. So both of you in your rooms kind of settle in for the evening, finally, in extraordinarily comfortable soft beds. Quinny, you're still unused to the strangeness of traveling without Butthole, who would probably be like knocking on your door to have a weird heart-to-heart about your long-term goals right around now.
Yep.
And you're also acutely aware of the absence of Alyn and Juniper. Even Bryn, who you would often like sneak off to talk to when on the airship and various other places. It's just, and like there's no Goblin Jr. Like it's weird. It's weird to be out here with just Reginald. But at the same time, you do feel like you've made some progress, at least. That you're trying for perhaps the first time in your life to just accurately and clearly tell someone exactly how you feel and not try to weasel out of it, which is a sign of growth. Also, no one has asked you to be a king in hours, and that's pretty fucking nice. It's nice to just kind of be respected as a thief again. Mm-hmm. So with that kind of weird sense of loneliness, but also of weird personal growth, you drift off to sleep as the sounds of the rain and the storm continue outside. Reginald, you've booby-trapped the room, you've broken glass, you lay down in the bed, and for a moment you're uncomfortable because of how soft it is. But a moment or two later, you actually ease into it, and it's just a little thing. It's not like a huge, like, oh, I'm going to take off my armor and relax. But you can feel your kind of jaw unclench a little bit, your shoulders relax, and as you kind of quietly fessed up to earlier, you've realized you really don't want to leave this world. It's, even with Barovia, this place is still somehow nicer than where you're from, and seeing the Bone Crushers, I think, just reconfirmed for you that you are done with keeping it sexy, and you're ready to move on. And so as the storm rages outside, you also drift away into a battle-ready but uneasy sleep. And you're both rudely awoken the next morning, not by your breakfasts, but by a shaking in the walls, and you can hear the glass rattling, and it seems almost like an earthquake. And Quinny, I think you sleep very lightly in the best of times because you're like fully prepped to be a thief and all that. So it alarms you greatly, and your eyes sort of spring open, and you immediately try and sit up, and you get jabbed in the throat by something metal, and you fall backward, and your body feels heavy, and you blink both your eyes, and then you realize you're blinking both your eyes, and you look down and see massive hands clutching a scythe, heavy metal armor, and a room full of booby traps. Which is when the Bone Crushers kick in the door and say, "Come on, Reginald! Let's go fuck some shit up!"
He freaky fucking Friday us, Ryan.
This will be really cool for Reginald.
This episode of Dum-Dums and Dragons features the voices of Ryan LaPlante at the Ryan LaPlante on Twitter, Tyler Hewitt at Tyler_Hewitt on Twitter, Laura Elizabeth at EL Hamstring on Twitter, and our fantastic DM Tom McGee at McGeeTD on Twitter. This episode was edited by Ryan LaPlante, and all of Dum-Dums and Dice's art is by Decapitated Markers, or at Decapitated Marker on Twitter. That's MRKR. Our theme songs are And Now for That Massive Coronary and Skipping Through the Orchestra Pit Part 1 by Peter Gresser, and our ad music is No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, JAHZZAR, all available at freemusicarchive.org. When it comes to Dum-Dums and Dice, you can visit our website at dumdumdice.com. Our Twitter and Instagram are at dumdumdice, and on Facebook at facebook.com/dumdumdice. But most importantly, we've got merchandise at redbubble.com/people/dumdumdice, or you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/dumdumdice. That's DUMBDUMBDICE. And tune in next week for more Dum-Dums and Dragons. Dum-Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time: Christian Menicola, Long, the Half-Blind Prophet, James Cuellar, Charles Grams, Christopher Little, Olin Anderson, Sue One, George Dolby, One True Artistry, Orion Birchfield, Lord Abradovic, Noel Lewis, Scott Garland, Anthony Griffin, Zekin X, Jordan Neesmith, Benjamin V, Gavin and Abby McDonald, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumdumdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.